Hi, my name is Evan Genovese, and this is my Anthropocene in Context project. For this video, I'm going to be investigating the question of whether human activity has turned water into a non-renewable resource. My reasoning behind asking this question is that water is a renewable resource because of the hydrologic cycle on Earth and in our atmosphere. However, we might be using water faster than it can be replenished. Our burning of fossil fuels is causing harmful alterations to all components of our natural world, with water being an important resource in our daily lives and in ecosystems. The replenishment of clean water is being impacted by the pollution resulting in acid rain and contaminating drinking water, leading to major health problems. Finally, climate change is also intensifying the water cycle, speeding up processes like evaporation and causing devastating droughts. In order to investigate this question, it's important to look back in time before human activity and compare that to today's world. According to Colin Waters, more than 300 million years ago, the trend was moving towards cooling temperatures and reducing greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Some 300 billion metric tons of coal has been mined globally during the Anthropocene. Our burning of this resource has returned vast quantities of carbon back into the atmosphere, in particular as carbon dioxide. The consequences this has for global warming and sea level rise through melting ice sheets will significantly impact flooding in the Mississippi River Valley and in coastal regions globally over future decades and continuing for millennia. This flooding affects water resources by carrying sediments that clog rivers and streams, impacting habitat and water quality. Foods also introduce pollutants such as chemicals and waste into water systems, making floodwater a less renewable resource because the water that is renewed is contaminated. One good case study that illustrates the damage of human activity on water systems is the Mississippi River. As a result of lead and zinc mining in the Midwest during the mid-19th century, as well as other human activity during the Anthropocene, much of the water in the Mississippi River has become contaminated. According to Russell, Waters, Williams, and Zalasiewicz, the tailings from these mines have, quote, found their way into rivers and accumulated in the sediment load transported by the river. There's also evidence of, quote, plastic polymers, metals such as aluminum and titanium, concrete, and novel ceramics. Furthermore, there's an influx of microplastic as well as nitrogen and phosphorus from the runoff of fertilizers, livestock waste, and soil erosion. According to Bancone, Turner, Ivar Dosol, and Rose, quote, microplastics are now considered ubiquitous in the environment. This contamination is an example of human activity affecting the water supply of an important water source that provides drinking water for millions. There are many other anthropogenic markers in the atmosphere that signal a decrease in the renewability of water. One of these is the acidification of the terrestrial and marine hydrosphere. According to Cundy, Galusha, Hahn, Rose, Schotik, Turner, and Wagrek, in many lakes and rivers, quote, sulfuric and nitric acids produced in the process of chemical transformations of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide in the air were deposited as acid precipitation. This stems from anthropogenic sources like livestock farming. An increase in atmospheric CO2 emissions has also increased ocean acidification, as the current pH value of surface ocean water is at its lowest in 2 million years. Acidic water, quote, decreases the bioavailability of nutrients and other bioessential elements such as phosphorus, calcium, and magnesium. This in turn makes the water unusable or dangerous for human consumption. Furthermore, atmospheric deposition of metals in the form of aerosols affects water supply significantly. According to McConnell, Maselli, Siegel, Vallelonga, Newman, Anschutz, Bales, Coran, Das, Edwards, Kipsville, Lehman, and Thomas, atmospheric aerosol concentrations are reflected in precipitation, so measurements in well-dated ice cores can provide a proxy of historical changes in the atmosphere. Both acid rain And atmospheric deposition of metals significantly affects drinking water as it makes it more acidic, increasing the release of toxic heavy metals. Finally, drought is another indication of the decreasing renewability of water. Throughout the Anthropocene, the control of water has been extremely important for humans. However, we are starting to lose control of water. According to the course book, quote, our biggest losses have been lakes and streams from drought. Even here at Yukon, the Fenton River was sucked dry by overpumping its wells to feed the water demand of students. Drought disrupts the natural hydrological cycle that replenishes freshwater sources, leading to water consumption exceeding water supply. In conclusion, water is still a renewable resource. However, the rate of this renewal is continuously declining, as well as the condition that the water is renewed in, potentially leading to points in time where at certain locations the source is used before it can be replenished properly. And here's my sources. Thank you.